If you've ever wanted to create something truly your own, organic, sculptural, and alive with character, this journey's for you. In this tutorial, I'll guide you step by step through turning simple pieces of reclaimed bamboo into sculptural wall art, an owl full of wisdom and a giraffe full of love.
The elusive bamboo owl and the long-necked Giraffecus artificialis are known to emerge only under the right conditions.
Let's make a good video. I'm very fortunate to have friends that have this bamboo on their property, but should you need to find some yourself, you can just go online, and even Walmart carries it. You just have to choose the diameter you want, and let's go. A little excessive, I know, on the bamboo, but you can never have enough, and it'll give me a chance to show you some more ideas. As an experimental recycle artist, I see potential where others see scrap. Bamboo isn't just a plant, it's a canvas, a challenge, and a chance to bring new life to discarded material. This isn't just about making art, it's about reimagining what materials can become. Let's get started. I always draw up my ideas first on paper to become familiarized with the image. It makes it more comfortable once ready to work on the actual material. Using a Sharpie is pretty bold, but you can always sand it if you make a mistake, or you can start with pencil first, then use something more visible for the cutting process. Bamboo is super strong, but once you cut it in half, it becomes very delicate, especially in a vise. If you have access to a band or a scroll saw, that's going to be your easiest. But I love the coping saw because it's like driving a stick shift as opposed to an automatic, and you get a workout. So these little pieces, I like to save because you never know when you'll be able to use them again. There are so many ways to sand and detail, but I wanted to make this as power toolless as possible for those of you that don't have lots of tools. Obviously, a Dremel is far more efficient and less time consuming. This is still a great detail sander to have. I've drawn this owl out many times, and each version is a new interpretation. No two are ever the same. Right now I'm sketching the eyes and beak, but those details will later be added with small pieces of bamboo. Every piece has a past, a story hidden in its texture or grain. Sometimes all it takes is the right hands to bring that story to life. I was sitting with my daughter when I came up with this idea, and I just popped up and ran outside. I haven't ever seen anybody do this, so it works extremely well for feathers, I think, and also scales for fish. I want you to also notice that I didn't sand the feather area first before doing that because I wanted it to have that different coloration when we go in and sand the other parts of the owl. Now, I must confess, I did use a Dremel around the face and the shoulders, and I really wish I didn't because I feel it took away from the rawness of this piece. But, you know, trial and error, that's part of this. I also wish I did not do this. I felt it was just too much. I wish I just had the simple contrast of the feathers and the breast. But the beautiful thing is this is such a simple piece of wall hanging art that you can go back and do as many as you want and as many variations as you want. So obviously you see that I added water to this area around the face to keep from getting the other areas darker. You don't have to do that with a torch. You can pretty much, control that, but I just did it for extra protection. Now I'm just taking some of the branches that I saved and choosing out the ends that have little claw-like features on them to use as these cute little leggies. This giraffe face is unsanded and has a protective coating that naturally repels water, so this application really doesn't do anything. Obviously, I'm just freehanding this burn, just in areas that I think work best. But if you feel you make a mistake, which there aren't mistakes, you can just merely sand it and it'll subdue some of that contrast. This neck was a leftover piece, and I felt like the length of the neck fit the size of the face. So this is the joining of the head and neck. And here's where the scrap pieces can come into play. When joining these pieces, you don't want to just send a screw down the center. You want to drill it out first, because if you do just send a screw, it will split it with no doubt. Using one screw can enable some movement between the parts, which I think adds a little more life to the piece. When hanging, you want to find where the weight is distributed evenly. Too low and it won't hang correctly. This is the way I've chosen to hang it, but I'm sure you can come up with something better. Make sure the hanging apparatus is out of view when setting it in place. This is coated wire, so when you heat it, it joins it together. Now this is the way that I'm choosing to hang this owl, because it has no weight to it whatsoever. So it's limitless what you could do. And again, I'm sure you could come up with something better. Eye screws are a really easy way to hang things. But when I did this, I didn't have eye screws, so I had to get a little more creative. Just a last minute touch to add a little more life. Let's take one last look at these far from perfect but undeniably charming little creations. If this video sparked some inspiration, taught you something new, or even just made you question your life choices, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, ideas, or even your brutally honest critiques, so I can keep creating content that actually matters to you.